Hi everybody, it's Crash Test, and today I'm bringing you a video called the Shadows of Hanoi. This is a nighttime map with a lot of moonlight and interior lights, lamps, that sort of thing, lanterns, and they cast long shadows. You use your radar, you use your eyes, you use your ears to sound or to figure out where they are. If you use shadows, you have one more way of figuring out where the bad guys are. And there are some surprisingly useful shadows in this map that you can use to your advantage. So I'm going to go through the map. I'm going to show you a bunch of different shadows to look for and how to avoid casting them. The first room I want to talk about is jail. If you run along the right edge of that room, you can see that there's a light source inside that little tin cupboard there that casts a big shadow against the left wall. If you run along the left wall, you don't really cast much of a shadow at all. And from outside in the clearing there, you can really see the shadow of the guy running across left to right, right to left. And now that he's running across the back there, you can't see anything at all. Next place is also in jail. You can see the shadow being cast from the light on the top right down to the bottom left. And that one's a little bit less common. This one doesn't come in handy quite as often, but you will occasionally see that one being cast. Here we are back up behind one of the CTF areas in the balcony building. There's a huge shadow being cast against that back wall. Now there's not a lot of places you can see that from, but it really can give you away from downstairs at the bottom of those steps. You can see pretty clearly that there's somebody camping upstairs looking out the balcony window. Here we are at the other end of the map, above the CTF flag there. And again, we've got a big shadow being cast against the back wall. The only place where you really need to use that shadow is again from downstairs at the bottom of these steps, where you can look up in through the door and see that there's somebody up there. Now we're over at Gallows. This is an interesting one because it shows part of the way that Black Ops handles shadows. When you run along on the left edge there, the light source casts a shadow across the ground, and you can use that from a few directions. This one's subtle. You can sort of see, yeah, right there on the bottom, there's like a bit of a flash of light, and this is a very common place to defend the flag from. From up on the balcony, you can see the shadow being cast. But if you move even a little bit further back on the balcony, there's no shadow at all. Black Ops only projects shadows up to a maximum distance, it looks like. So you can see that that guy casts no shadow at all, which is pretty crazy. I didn't realize that till I started making this video, actually. Here we are in top film, and really the only shadow that's of any use here is one that gets cast from the projector up against the screen. It's a bit of a faint shadow, but you can see it there. And really the only place where you can see that from that makes any difference at all is down here in Gallows. Now I'm going to spend some extra time on the bomb room here, because that lantern just behind the bomb, as you can see, casts some pretty big shadows, and there's all kinds of windows and doors and things that you can see into this room from. And it's central. It's a headquarters location, it's a search and destroy location, it's a demolition location. So I'm going to spend a little bit of extra time talking about how this room works. You can see that that lamp will cast shadows against both walls, against the floor, and actually if you're close enough to it, it'll even cast shadows onto the ceiling. From outside the door here at the cutoff, you can see the shadow being cast back and forth. You have to be really kind of close to the edge at a narrow angle the way I am here in order to see that shadow. But if you're even a little bit further back like this, this is the same period of time that we're looking at, but there's no shadow at all. So that's kind of the limit to how far that shadow was visible from. Here we are from on the Gallows side looking at the same shadow on the other wall. But if you move back a few feet, you can't see the shadow at all. The shadow is also visible from over on Garden side looking through the bomb room window. And from back here you can't see it, so you have to be reasonably close. Here we are from over on Spotlight side looking at the shadow being cast against the far wall there. And again, if you go back a little bit further near the gallows, what is that thing called? Not sure. You can't see it. And I had a couple of odds and ends for this map that I wanted to share with you too. Here's a really useful spawn nade. Works in a variety of game modes, but especially good for search. Just cook it a little, throw it right over that wall, and it blows up right in the doorway over there just as they're coming through. The timing is just about perfect. And here's a fun little dolphin dive that I like to use for getting on top of bus. It's actually easier than making the jump normally. Just kind of run towards that doorway, dolphin dive when you're halfway through the landing, and you land on the bus pretty easily. And you can use it to get up in that little awning if you want to. Anyway, hope you liked it. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, like, comment, subscribe.